No. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I should just go to bed, right? You know what I want to practice is some of just my harmonics, you know? I've had an epiphany, if you will, like a eureka moment. It's just math. It's just math. I know in a lot of ways music is just math, but this is a really good demonstration of the fact that it's math, right? So, okay, so your harmonics, right? Right here on the 12th fret, that's where you get your harmonic, right? It's like, okay, that's interesting, because it doesn't happen right? It doesn't happen on the 11th, it doesn't happen on the 13th. It happens best right on that 12th. Here's the thing, if your guitar is properly set up, right? The 12th fret is going to be the exact center point of the entire string length from nut to bridge. So that means that from nut to 12th fret, that's going to be equidistant to 12th fret to bridge, right? That's why when setting up your guitar, you have this in here. This is how you get with this guy, you know, turning the screwdriver. But that's how you get the appropriate length from nut to bridge. So I was like, okay, it's interesting how it's exactly on the halfway point. Okay, so I was like, all right, well, let me try something. That, right over 7th fret. It's like, all right, well, roughly that's, I don't know how far that is, but if I do that from the bridge and back, it's like, where would I end up? I'd end up somewhere around like 20th fret. Hear that tone, right? Okay. More 19th fret, not really 20th, but somewhere in there, 19, 20. It's the same tone, right? So I think that's in thirds. Roughly, if you're kind of breaking the strings into thirds at that point, right? That looks about, this distance looks about the same to this distance to this hand, and then this looks like the same distance to this. Hopefully, I'm sorry, I'm very tired. Hopefully these explanations are making sense. But if I break it into thirds, it makes sense that the two, like, if you have, this is your nut and your bridge, it makes sense that if you're breaking it into thirds, right? 1, 2, 3, those 2 points, doesn't matter which one you cause the harmonic to trigger on, it's going to create the same harmonic tone, right? It doesn't matter which one you do. I don't know if that's like the appropriate mathematical explanation, but like that's how I'm thinking of it. So in the same sense, just like if I'm doing, right? Well, there's only one way to dot the halfway point, right? This here to this to here, right? Your halfway point, 12th fret. There's only one position to do that. In thirds, you have 2 points to do that. If this is your nut, your bridge, right, you have your 2 points somewhere over 7th fret and 19th fret. So it makes sense. So it's like, okay, what about like fourths? So I think, okay, so if we roughly go like, and you can even hear it, right? You can start to hear it. And I think roughly that is somewhere, well, we can go till we hear it, right? What's this tone? Right above that 5th fret. Yes. That makes sense, right? So this is the distance from, say, from nut to, I mean, fuck, I can measure it out if I wanted to, actually. So realistically, we should see, we're gonna go to the nut, and if we go to roughly, but 5th fret, that's 6.5 inches. I know it's upside down, but it's right there. 6.5 inches, okay? And that's butt into the inside of the nut, so I mean, that's as close as I can get it. But if we go to 5th fret, we should see 6.5 inches on the 12th fret here. So if we kind of just hold it on 5th fret, I mean, it's not exact, but then again, I was kind of like probing around to try to find it, but more or less, man, like, I mean, that's 6.5 inches light to 12th fret, but that's like pretty damn, that's good, right? Like, that's not too bad. So technically speaking, I think the quarter would be somewhere just in behind fret 5 if we're breaking it into quarters. Then we should see that 12th fret to this point right above the pickup should be another 6.5 inches. And it is, if you look at that, that's 6.5, which is in and around where I was doing my harmonic. Then we should see from this single coil, the neck pickup, to the bridge, that should be another 6.5. Again, 6.5 light, so, you know, not quite, but like, we're talking about like a 1/16 of an inch. So, math, man. It's just math. So I imagine that if we did this, okay? I imagine that right above the single coil, we're going to get a tone that is 1 octave higher. There we go. And to me, to my ears, that sounds like that. So I imagine that is in fact an octave higher, and I imagine, like, to my ears it sounds like that. Now I don't really know what the ratio would be for going from half to a third, like what the relationship. Like, is that a 5th? I don't know. Is it a 7th? But I also imagine that if you were to continue breaking it up, like if you found the point, say if we break it up into 5ths, I mean, what is the whole length of this? Well, it's 25.5. So roughly every 5 inches, I still need this, 25.5, 5 and 1/8 heavy. Let's go right behind the 4th fret. I would imagine that that's how we break the string into 5ths. So if you have nut and then bridge, let me fix my hat. If you have nut and then bridge, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4 points that are equidistant along the string length, creating 5 zones. Okay, I gotta find a way to end this train of thought because I think I'm too tired for this. I'm understanding it, but when I'm trying to verbally put those words with the thing that I understand, like on like an abstract level, I don't have the concrete, tangible words to put that forth. But I think you start to get what I'm getting at with my handy little measuring tape. It's just all math.
It's just math.
It's just math. It's so beautiful. But good talk. Thank you for sitting through that. It just kind of clicked on me. It's still all math.